and Jinx is really strong on this patch because of it. So Jinx might be a little bit higher priority, as the Hurricane also feels really nice on Jinx too. And Yuntal just gives you a better starting point. So, I mean, for me, I think Orianna makes a ton of sense here. Just add more zone control to the mix that Xayah has to deal with in terms of walking through balls. I would love to see that, and frankly, kind of expect that instead of an Akali. That said, I'm going to be disappointed. It's an Akali. That's a bummer.
As he said, with great disdain in his
you're
lower
passing
register.
up an Ori Nocturne and the ability to like always threaten Xayah and her ability to walk up during fights to take the Akali. I don't like that trade. That said, what I do like, Bin Jax, I don't think that anyone's seen that and not like that. So
True.
treated to yet another great Bin champion, and guess what? By blinding the Jax like that, has the power to throw a couple bans to protect himself up there in the top lane.
No Croc for LNG. Another...
Maybe a Kennen ban? I mean, that's just a decent matchup against Jax. I don't know if they have to keep on taking away.
If you wanted to go
magic
for like a
damage.
pure lane counter pick, Udyr would be something that you could snipe away too. That's always a tough time for the Jax to deal with.
Or Gragas. I think there are so many like options in the top side that they might just elect to pass on a ban and just be like, hey, we're just going to deal with whatever you throw at us. That said, of course, Akali showing for Haichao and LNG. No mid laner showing for BLG unless something crazy happens. So throwing some bans at mid lane, I think very reasonable.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what I have yet to test and don't know how this interaction would go, Raafaa?
What's that?
Mel W and Silas R. Because technically, doesn't he like send out a projectile? I think it can be blocked by Windwall.
Yeah, you can
So
block.
can Mel steal her own ult if she's reflecting it? I don't know. Or like steal someone else's ult, and does it go to Mel, or like does it go to whoever's stealing the heart or whatever?
I don't know. And you know what, Matt? We have the technology to test that out ourselves because Practice Tool now allows more than one person. So if BLG cleans this out 3-0, let's do that as an after series activity. We can find that out together.
Okay, Raafaa. Okay, we like that. Azir being taken.
By the way, guys, we may or may not stream that interaction and post it up on our coffee page.
Oh, okay. The coffee, I thought you meant like stream as of you. I was like,
no. But if you guys want it, we will first hand test that interaction and post it on the coffee page as additional content.
Well, let's get back into the draft. Poppy being locked in for Zika in the top side. That could be interesting going up against the Jax, kind of a neutralizer up there, but value of Poppy so far actually pretty good with the Pantheon, Jax, Azir, and of course Xayah, a little bit shorter range. You can threaten if you are able to E the Xayah, and you can get the R off through the root. You can still cast abilities, so some value there for Poppy. Another way to force Xayah R2 to potentially set up for the Nocturne Akali combo. And of course Alistar locked in. Alistar win rate has been very high so far this split of LPL. Will be countered by a Bard.
On's Bard. Well, I'm not gonna lie, Cubby. I don't really have any thoughts about it. You know, there's like
I have a thought. A shout out to Mazel, who would really want to make sure that we share this with everyone else.
Okay.
If we go to season 14 and we go to On and his recent games, I go to the very last game that he played in LPL playoffs, which they won. He is 0-6-12 on Bard in what was just a game that he was completely griefing into Alistar on Crisp, into Weibo. He did not play well this game.
Oh,
it was not a good game for On's Bard. He was kind of running in there. He threw some bad ults.
Oh, no.
It's going to be better this game because it couldn't be much worse than that one. I have more confidence in On than that.
Well,
but if you want thoughts about, you know, the Bard from On, that would be some historical data.
That's quite the heinous receipt to just whip out on him, man. I mean, that is... I know you can't hear us, but I wish you could so that you could defend yourself, bro.
He did not play the pick at Worlds. And he only played it one other time in the entire last calendar year. But being quick to bust it out here.
Well, we'll see if On
First two
can
games haven't been too hard for
us
BLG. You know, he just needed to make game 3. He needed to make game 3 harder for his team, Raafaa. That was it.
Yeah. You know what? I'm already having faith in this Bard performance because he's rocking what is my favorite Bard skin, the Snow Day Bard skin. You get the little penguins to collect and hot cocoa. Exactly. And we're still technically in the winter season, so it's the perfect time to rock a parka, even though Summoner's Rift looks more like Halloween than winter with the blood red color schemes.
Season, according to the calendar and the solstice, even though the winter feels like we're halfway through or just about to be halfway through.
Riot, if you're watching, please bring back winter map for Summoner's Rift. I beg you.
They brought back Noxus map. It's winter map time. Or they created Noxus map, I should say. Winter map time.
And this is the closest to Halloween that we have seen in quite some time. The colors just fit. It's kind of like autumn, and then the sense of dread with the red.
Yeah, it reminds me driving through just the draws of Oklahoma with all the red.
Wow. Just so specific. Is that when you first moved out to LA?
Dude, driving through like Texas past and like Oklahoma or like mostly Texas, like to the west of Dallas. I mean, it was pretty much just hills and red terrain. It was kind of gross, but you know, that's what this riff reminds me of.
Damn.
Yeah.
If you're from Oklahoma, I hope you don't just take that. You should answer back at Cubby, tweet at him, or
you can take it personally, but I'm not wrong about what it looks like. It's just
why are you booing me? I'm right.
It's an opinion about whether you like it or not. It's a fact about what it looks like. We'll put it that way.
Understandable. Oh my goodness, Zika's taken a lot of harass there from the double range bot lane of Elk and On, and I feel like Zika's gonna be forced to teleport back to this lane to catch all the minions. I'm not sure if that's something that BLG can really punish, but it looks like Zika's actually just gonna take the long, slow walk and hold on to that TP just in case BLG try and punish that later on.
Yeah, like if he TPs there and he dies, I mean his game's pretty over. He's kind of forced to walk there if he wants to get his health bar back. So, but that said, he loses the wave.
Yeah.
So, expensive, but
yeah,
we're healthy.
Thankfully for Zika, though, WeiWei is pathing towards the top side of the map, so he'll have Nocturne support at the same time that Wei will be hitting the top side of the map. And while Pantheon has been super fun to watch in the LPL specifically, and hopefully around the world as other regions start implementing the champion into their own games, Nocturne does have a... Well, I was going to say a slightly faster clear. However, Wei is doing a great job of, matching the pace, which I'm really surprised about, honestly. Like
the Pantheon clear, like with the preemptive smites and the guaranteed crits, it's actually pretty strong. So good to see Wei utilizing that decently well as he does wrap his clear before the Nocturne. Well done. Did burn one more smite than the Nocturne, though. So if Nocturne were to contest that crab, actually would have been able to secure it with the smite.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. So Pantheon going to kill that one. We'll see if he goes for the dive. Pantheon dives extraordinarily strong in this early game, and he's looking to posture for it. See if Zika's wiser to it. Just have a ward in the brush, and looks like he's backed off.
He does have to be careful, though, because if he times the W at the same time as the steadfast presence, it will not go through, and he will not get his stun off on the Zika. But he is being forced back, and Knight might just look for a solo kill on the Haichao, but he leans to the support of WeiWei, and because he's there, Knight is forced to flash over. WeiWei follows with his own flash, and now is trying to keep in range of him using the slow from the red buff, and here comes Haichao. Wait on back. WeiWei with first blood.
Good attempt from Knight on the sidestep on Nocturne Q, but just not enough to get out of there in one piece. And good play from LNG as at the moment both of our top laners being starved. Advantage slightly in Bin's hands in terms of experience. But honestly, I mean, pretty big here for LNG because who'd you rather starve out, a Jax or a Poppy? So having the Poppy in the starve situation, trading that for the Jax, not bad.
Yeah. Solid stuff here from LNG. And I mean, Zika just knows his role this time around. I mean, he's tried to play a couple carries in the first 2 games. This time he's on tank duty, and when you're weak side tank duty, you just gotta accept the fact that, like, hey, even if you are down a lot of CS, you're still gonna be able to do your job.
Was it like Darshan used to say, like, your game goes from, you know, fighting the top laner for just like fighting for any just crumb of dust you can find on the Rift in terms of golden experience, like,
Yep.
whatever you can find anywhere, it's good. And at the moment, Advantage Bin, who's up after this wave, likely a level and a half on Zika. So much like game 1, where Bin was put in the solo lane on the Cassante in that game, this time around on the Jax, we did have LNG go try and choose to help out this Poppy in terms of figuring out what to do. Or it was trying to free it up. Not the case, and Poppy falling behind now in experience.
Been relatively quiet apart from the one explosive mid lane fight we got from WeiWei. A couple flashes were burned in that exchange, but WeiWei is now hovering on the top side of the map just in case Wei commits, and they might catch him here. The stun gets interrupted by the pulverized combo, and the magical journey, can it get them back to safety as they take it all the way across the wall? It comes at the cost of Wei's flash, but he is still alive thanks to On.
A nice portal from On. I know that we were joking about his bar, which he played to secure the LPL trophy last summer, even though that game wasn't the best from him. That was a nice one there. Gets his team to safety. And with that said, BLG, it doesn't feel like they've won the health bar war, but they have won the pressure war. It does help that Bin is here. Does not have the TP. Zika, if he wants to try and contest, could TP here. It does have the empower, or the TP available. Not empowered. That happens later on in the game, but of course, if the TP changes, can go anywhere. Not the case though, and no fight breaks out. Grubs split 2-1, and we'll see what LNG wants to do next. And honestly, who puts their focus on the dragon? I feel like Nocturne maybe wants to farm out at least one item before he touches that dragon.
See what WeiWei decides to end up doing, as he's got a few camps spawning on this bottom quadrant. Might be enough to allow him to hit that first item, which with the tunneler build, I believe it is that Hex Tech plate that gives him the ultimate ability haste, which has been pretty niche for a lot of champions, but so good on Nocturne especially. Ooh. However, Photic forced to pop the cleanse, and Elk was trying to line up the feathers off that Featherstorm, but doesn't quite find it to rip the Blade Caller onto Photic, but does get a flash out of Zhuo. And for BLG's bot lane, at least doing a decent job of maintaining the pressure and trying to use that double range advantage to their success.
I was about to say, it looks like On took his finals Bard performance personally so far, because it's been quite good this game.
He heard you were talking some smack.
It wasn't me that was talking. It was a lot of others. I'm just conveying the smack that I heard talked, quite frankly. I agree, though. He did not play well. You
brought it back up.
I mean, if you saw that game, it should be brought back up. It was
nice job by Ben to use that Demolish proc to get a nasty amount of gold through that first plate. Not quite enough damage to get the second plate down. I'm curious. Ben has not really revealed his cards of whether this is going to be a normal bruiser build Jax or if this is going to be potential tank Jax, something that we saw, as we already alluded to, Flandra, showing off in last night's series, which was Iceborne Gauntlet and then a tier into the Fimbulwinter. But since there's no tier already in his build, I would imagine that it's not going to be the case, as he would want to start stacking that up as soon as possible.
Yeah, I do like how he's playing for the grass procs there and pushing Poppy away. I mean, I think the next base is probably just going to answer it for us. I'm okay with the early cloth armor. Keep in mind he was in a 2v1 scenario, right, with him being the one, and against Poppy too. That could be rather useful. Oh boy, Paranoia.
Normally I say that Featherstorm is a great answer into the Nocturne Paranoia, but not when you don't have it off cooldown. And On tries to save his 80 carry with the Tempered Fate, but it's just not enough. There's too many skill shots to account for, and Photic alongside WeiWei is able to get the job done.
And creative attempt there from On. That was actually really close. And I like the play from LNG because they took that on the Featherstorm timer. Look at Elk right now in the gray screen. His ultimate is available for the fight. It was not. So forcing Paranoia on the Xayah on that timer, I think, was well played here by LNG.
LNG, I mean, they're finding a decent early game footing. Watch the replay once again.
Yeah, look at Spectator. You can see how quick that Featherstorm's coming off cooldown, but just was not able to get it on. Really clever attempt. Love seeing Bard's attempt to be creative. I think that with this champion's kit, he is a goofy champion. You got to see and think about the game differently if you want to be a good Bard player. Meanwhile, hold on. Haichao,
the Grand Star fall.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's out of there.
Okay. Haichao just giving him an extra bit of chip damage with the second cast of the perfect execution, but it does force his ultimate out, and that's a strong port of Akali's power. Unfortunate for On, doesn't necessarily stop the recall, but WeiWei is here. On, just going to use the magical journey through the wall. No danger there. 3 grubs for the second rotation has spawned once again, and because Haichao commits to teleport despite being down the perfect execution, still enough pressure that allows LNG to clean up a majority of these grubs unless WeiWei can sneak one of them. But it doesn't look like to be the case here.
They have vision. We'll see. Maybe Knight just tries to throw a Q in there. No, not the case. So 4-2. Grub advantage for LNG. First time that's happened tonight.
True. Hang on, Matt. LNG there.
It's begun.
Potential for that game 1 upset, as now another Paranoia on cooldown forces the flash immediately out of Knight. He's still safe, but that's a summoner spell gone. As Zika's getting dangerously close to soloing out Bin, but he still had a flash and he still had the Grandmaster's Might, and now Wei is here and Zika is low on mana, low on HP. Keeper's Verdict at the ready if he needs it. Here comes the windup, and yeah, Wei is going to accept it. That's an ultimate gone.
Yeah, could have flashed over that one and tried to continue the play, but just going to eat it because with Zika basing, could lead to a free dragon here for Pantheon to respond to the grubs as well. So I like some of the caution being shown by Wei to not burn his big tools just to find a kill. Instead, just going to take the map state that would have happened either way, get Zika back to base, and make sure that this dragon goes over to the hands of BLG.
Yep. And it is the first dragon of the game. Probably one of the slower ones that we've seen in this series so far. Not necessarily a rare case in the LPL, as, you know, dragons have been less of a priority. Oh, Knight, you got to be careful, bro. Zhuo does have flash, but a nice, well-timed... I'm not sure what Zhuo was looking for. I guess he tried to get in range with the minion fairy, but that is Emperor's Divide traded for perfect execution, so I think Knight is totally okay with that.
Yeah, I like On coming to drop some hot cocoa for his mid laner, as it's about plus 130 health there from those 2 Ws, and probably going to leave a third on its way out, too. This will prompt Zhuo to stay up there a little bit. Bring Bin up in the bot lane if he wants it, but into Poppy right now, not much doing. As
I like that little micro interaction there. Zika just eating through a minion to dodge the Counter-Strike stun, but it's just the small things that, as a jungle man, you don't really pay attention to. You know, I'm farming my camps, and I'm just seeing if the waves are pushing or bouncing back, and I'm hovering, but, you know, it's the small things that are always cool to see in League of Legends.
Well, gonna hopefully see some big things from WeiWei as Paranoia is up. And you gotta believe that him sitting 2-0 with that experimental Hexblade, we're just kind of waiting for him to press R and see what happens. Also,
I feel like I stun-locked you with my intrusive thought. I sincerely apologize.
No, you're fine. You know, sometimes...
I just want to address the awkwardness, you know.
Sometimes, but, Raafaa, we just have to, you know, move forward and move on. And
it is always so funny to watch you just struggle to compose yourself after something's been said that you were not expecting. I don't think he was expecting this cow, and he gets interrupted on the magical journey out. He's not getting out alive at all. And with the lights turned out, Elk has no idea that there's an angry cow walking towards him. So he's forced to pop the Featherstorm, and then, it's not enough damage from the Super Mega Death Rocket, but it was close. And LNG they're trying to slam that foot on the pedal. Wei comes in with the Grand Starfall, but I don't know what he was expecting to get because WeiWei is there to cover. Flash into the W to try and ferry himself to Zhuo, but he's got the damage reduction for the ulti, and Elk just can't do enough. Flash from WeiWei gets him out of range from the turret, and LNG are probably playing their best game of the series yet, Cubby.
Yeah, and everything is really happening off the back of WeiWei, but that time around, it was Zhuo working with WeiWei, getting behind everyone with the Nocturne to set him up. The two headbutts really leading to the 2 kills. They were golden from Zhuo, as we're going to get a replay. I mean, it's the angle on, yeah, just using the fog. WeiWei, they had vision. Zhuo snuck into the fog, into the pit, headbutt from around, and then Photic. Really good movement from him there. That click up into the river got him out of the rip from the Xayah. And then a well-played Super Mega Death Rocket. It did get the barrier from Elk. As we return online, looks like we thought we were going to have a fight going on. Not the case, but a 2K gold lead from LNG. Last game, it was the one member that stuck around the top laner in Zika that was big. This time, it's the other one, WeiWei, who's really making things happen for BLG.
I think Ben was trying to anticipate the keeper's verdict and flash over it, but I don't know if it was just a little delayed, but Wei steps aside it, maybe has one more Q in the tank, but Zika sidesteps it. LNG are cooking, man, and here comes Haichao to look for the punish on the bin. Grandmaster's pipe is just popped a little too late, I fear. My goodness. Tempered Fate is going to force the flash out of Haichao, but man, oh man, BLG, they haven't gotten a single solid play for themselves on the map yet.
Oh, heads up. Elk could be in trouble if he shows. Does have Flash and Featherstorm. But yeah, Paranoia.
That forces the Featherstorm. But there's a flanking Zhuo, and they follow him into the jungle quadrant. And this time, the rocket finds its mark. No barrier, no Featherstorm, nothing to protect Elk on the Xayah. And that's 6-0 for LNG. Cubby, this is the best that we have seen LNG yet.
Yeah, LNG are cooking, and they scale decently well, too. The tank Poppy, the Jinx behind it, and keep in mind, Yuntal is buffed up on this patch. This is looking rather nice for LNG, and for BLG, I mean, I gotta say it. Oh, hold on. We can't talk. We had a TP
They're
coming
gonna try again.
Yeah, Knight's been focused to WAP, but now he's gonna turn his sight.
New challenger approaches.
Yeah,
Zika has no tools this time to escape, and this is a guaranteed kill. BLG's first one of this game 3, which feels pretty strange to say for the side, especially if we just know the pedigree of BLG, but they're going to continue pressing forward. Photic forced to flash, slowed by the Cosmic Binding. They turn their eyes on the Zhuo, get his flash as well, and now Photic is in trouble. No flash to dodge the Temper Fate, and surely this should be a solid shutdown bounty going back over to Elk.
Pretty decent answer coming out from BLG. They did lose the Rift Herald, as that was picked up by WeiWei while all that was going on. That said, BLG, they're going to take the tower now after the kills. Mid-outer gonna fall, and see they set their sights onto the Dragon. Haichao will dock down top outer for himself, but again, LNG, I mean, just good to see them making these proactive plays together as a team. And I want to see where the next Paranoia is at, because WeiWei's really dictating the pace of the game with his ultimate. I know both him and Pantheon have some pretty big reach with those R keys. It's been WeiWei getting the best of BLG so far.
I will say, Matt, the last 2 plays kind of looks like the older brother for BLG just logged on for the first time this game. And I hope that for LNG's sake, that the older brother doesn't stay on for that much longer if they want a chance to continue leveraging the momentum they have found within the first, half of the game.
Yeah, that was an overstay from LNG and a good bounce back from BLG. They were trying to take down that mid-outer turret, which you can see is just barely standing on BLG's side of the map. LNG overextending for that one, not respecting some of the creative timers that you can create between both Pantheon and Bard. But now, keep in mind, LNG, they've still been the ones dictating the pace of the game off the back of that Paranoia, using that to cheat their own tempo. That is back up and available for WeiWei, and we'll see where he uses it.
Still a solid 2,000 gold advantage for the side of LNG, but, strangely enough, BLG were the ones that got first brick off the table, and you know, took out 2 towers despite not having a majority of the grubs. You know, you would expect that LNG should be able to do a lot more in that department. But the fact that BLG, off of their 2 picks alone, getting back-to-back objectives, it's what we talked about this entire series. What makes BLG so terrifying about a team, their immediate positioning to, as soon as getting 1 kill off the board, their ability to transition that into a sizable objective advantage. And whereas LNG, they've been getting a lot of kills, but not really that much to combo off of it.
Yeah, do you want to keep track of the Rift Herald just to see if they can cash that in? Of course, that's one where, speaking of the combos and some of the pressure, Rift's a big one. You can drive home quite literally. As currently, no objectives on the map besides Otacon, which did spawn topside. It's voracious, you know, it's a pro game. We all know what it is. Oh, okay, here we go.
A little far from Wei, but Haichao is forced back into Wei anyway, since the rest of BLG was collapsing through the bottom quadrant of that jungle. Another successful collapse by Wei through the power of that Pantheon ultimate.
Yeah, we've seen a WeiWei have some very impactful paranoias. It was Wei's turn to use his arcade to do something good. Looks like Haichao, his flash is coming off cooldown, so nice job on BLG on tracking that and finding a way to punish it. And Haichao could have played that one, or could have played his way out of that one just a little bit better. Between the ult, I think, going the wrong way there, but some credit over to the other side. It was positioning well to make sure that ult couldn't take him over the wall.
Sure.
Yeah.
2 minutes on the next dragon here, Matt. And BLG have already picked up 2 that are their names. So if they are able to easily secure this one, this puts them at soul point. And, you know, they don't really have real tanks on this BLG corner, but it is Mountain Soul. Knight might be in trouble, but he's got On here to escort him out safely. I imagine that if BLG, if they secure Mountain Soul, you know, back-to-back dragons, it makes it so much more tough, or it's so much tougher for LNG to successfully assassinate the threats on BLG. You have to fight through Barrier, you have to fight through Mountain Soul, and the added resistances on top of it. So they're going to try to pull the trigger here. Paranoia into the Featherstorm, answer blow for blow. But Elk might be forced to flash, but it's a great collapse from Zika. Still looking for the turnaround and the follow-up, but Wei turns around with a collapse of his own. The counterattack is too great for LNG to overcome, and the rest of BLG's strength rises in numbers. LNG just got nothing left to fight back.
I gotta see a replay on that one, because the start of the fight looked pretty promising for LNG. They found a really nice combo onto Elk. The engage from Zika was big, but the follow-up just wasn't there. Jinx got taken out by Knight on a bit of a tankier Azir build. That dominated the fight, and I gotta say, next objective take, it will be feats of strength as well. So looks like BLG, they've set their sights on the Otacon, uncontested at the moment. And again, really want to see a replay of that fight, because I just want to see if Photic had any angles to get involved in terms of hitting Elk, because the setup was so good. Take another look. It was a TP from Knight. The Grand Starfall was used too, and yeah, they get Elk up in the air, burn that. Zika, the flash, the engage, but Photic just was never able to get in because of Knight. The combo with Wei was fantastic. The Jinx gets one shot. The damage was not able to follow up on Elk. For the rest of the team and BLG, they got their members in to protect their AD first. Meanwhile, Photic fell first for LNG, and BLG take the fight in dominating fashion from behind.
And just like that, Matt, the first 12, 13 minutes that were going so well for LNG, there was a moment where they had 6 kills to 0. They had a 3,000 gold advantage. And the next 12 minutes have just completely erased that story. That narrative is gone. BLG are back in control. They are now on soul point after the take of this 3rd dragon. Otacon secured on their side. And it's back to the same expectations that we had at the beginning of this series, BLG being the favored ones.
And with the Otacon now, we've seen how aggressively BLG has played this in the past 3 maps. Using it at the moment, the Siege bot playing inner turret. They do not have grub advantage for the first time in the series, so these turrets will stand a little bit longer, but they've still corralled LNG and forced them to defend this bot inner turret. LNG not able to access a top wave. It's kind of a dead wave at the moment. Can't get to the top side camps because they're defending this. And so BLG dictating the pace of the game, and LNG have to dance to BLG's tune.
The voracious GA is doing so much work. Bin is occupying the attention of two players on the top side. WeiWei just collapses through Bin, but these GAs are going to get popped. And BLG, they knew what they wanted to come for. They get the tier 2 turret knocked down, sacrificing the voracious GAs of both of their solo laners. And that's a small price to pay for the continuous salvation of BLG's Game 3.
Yeah, sight's not going to be on the Baron, as we are past the 25-minute mark. Of course, Baron, new spawn, and also slept on. Push back the spawn of the global buffs, too, by 5 minutes, which I like a lot, because the global buffs are extraordinarily strong when you get everyone a blue buff or a red buff. So I like the fact that Baron spawn actually did push back that timer 5 minutes, something that I don't think a lot of people have thought about in the new season.
Fair point. I haven't thought about that myself either, now that you mention it.
Yeah, not bad. I still don't like that, you know, they Oprah'd the red buff and blue buff to everyone. Just not a giant fan of that.
Yeah, it's it does delay
nice,
things a lot, but
yeah.
I mean, as a jungler, hang on. Decent engage in
must fight.
Top quadrant. Zika in trouble. Teleport coming in. I think it's night. And I don't think Zika's got any more friends to bail him out of this one. Baron is alive for the taking. BLG have numbers. And they might deal with the waves first before attempting to threaten it. There is a ward from LNG's side that keeps constant vision on the Baron side for now. So BLG are just going to be happy with the pick.
Yeah, I'm curious how BLG snowballs the game from here, though. They have reclaimed their gold lead. And, okay, they're just going to hit Baron. I can't see them sticking this. On's also a mile away. And for whatever reason, doesn't have flash available. Okay,
Paranoia.
Oh, wait, no.
Lights are turned off. Wei steps up. Zhuo pops the ultimate, tries to reduce as much damage as he can, but he's separated from the team. Good locket timing, tempered fate. He sidesteps it, but Knight comes in, and now he's looking for WeiWei. The rest of the backline from LNG completely zoned off. Zika rejoins the fight. Wei pushing forward, and the Shield Assault just completely demolishes LNG's front line and backline in one swift strike. BLG wipe the floor with LNG, and any chance for an upset is just not in today's history books. BLG are the dominant ones. They are one of the best teams we've seen in LPL, and that story does not change tonight.
Right on. I know I gave your Bard from LPL Finals some grief to kick off this game, but this game 3, much better for On. That last fight was fantastic on the Bard, and BLG ending this series with a hell of a punctuation mark at the end, as this was a game where you called it out, Raafaa. LNG, they had a good start. They got the first 6 kills. They had a lead. It was in their favor, and BLG's ability to just turn the game like that, flip it on a dime is what it feels like. Again, something this team has always had the firepower to do, but to see it here, man, really good. And in terms of LNG, we saw Zika get a lead in Game 2. Wasn't able to convert that to a victory. WeiWei, I thought, had a really nice Game 3 and some good starts. Just couldn't convert that to a victory. It just feels like LNG, it's sad because we've seen these pieces in the past have success with this roster. They've competed with the LPL at the top of the table, and this year it just feels like you're approaching a doomed year as a fan if they are going to run this 5, because this is not a team that's going to be able to compete with the top of the LPL from what we've seen so far.
So close and yet so far in their own way, and it does sting even more to lose in such fashion in front of your home crowd at the, hopefully I'm saying this right, the Zhuo or Suzhou Arena. You know, they had the fan base come out in massive support, and I'm very positive they'll still be supporting them after the series, being able to see some of the bright moments that were genuinely there. You know, Game 1, not so much. That was like pretty much a roll and a stomp, but you know, Game 2, Zika's Rumble, WeiWei's Vi, they were creating moments of opportunity for potential comeback. And then Game 3, I mean, this opening 12 minutes, as we both called it out, this was the closest that LNG had to realistically a real shot at taking a game off of BLG. And it would have really opened the conversation of, you know, what we could have expected. But with this victory from BLG, it is now official. Both Thunder Talk and BLG will be advancing from Group C, respectively, into the playoffs for our first split of the 2025 season.
Baby.